All right. Welcome to the Spiritual Gangsta Book Club. I'm Shannon, aka the Spiritual Gangsta. I am your host. I am owner operator of Anchored Soul Therapy, and this is our spiritual book club where we um, integrate learning about all these different spiritual books and integrate the lessons that we are learning. Like I said previously, we're reading The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Um, we are into our 10th week here with the book, and it's been really amazing for myself, very enlightening. Um, those of you who signed up through my link in my profile for the book club, you should be receiving emails, which are follow-ups to all the sessions. You can find all the past recordings and replays for this on my website on anchoredsoultherapy.com under the book club. It links you to all the replays. Twitter only keeps them for so long, and they're all organized and perfect access for you there on my website. You can also get links to all the emails that go along, so you can get all the integration work to help you really enhance your book club sessions. Okay, so last week we talked about the inner body. We began reading chapter 6, which starts on page 107. We talked about different way when we speak to choose words that resonate with ourselves instead of resisting or fighting against it. Something like he spoke about in the very beginning of the book, where a lot of people have a negative emotion that might come up when we say the word God. And he's saying that if it ever pulls a negative emotion within the body, to make sure that find a word that works for you: universe, source, etc. I know when before I had my experience of sitting with source, I would always stumble upon the word God because I always had like such a negative pull to me. And now I just unapologetically just speak it. Sometimes you'll hear me say source, or sometimes I'll say God. It just, now I really don't have that negative pull anymore because I understand my own personal connection with the word. So make sure you do that throughout, everything that you're doing, especially in this book. He really reiterates that. In this chapter, Eckhart spoke about connecting to the inner body, which we found in a previous session, uh, integration session, that I had everybody was focusing on the energetic field of your body. And he spoke about that in this chapter, where you become aware of your own source energy, your true essence, and that it's very important because to find that connection to your true essence, because over time we have been taught to become ashamed and disconnected from our body. And when we learn to accept the body, we learn to accept our essence. We are our bodies, and there's so much like body shame that sometimes we can't even get past the physical aspect of it, where our inner being truly lies. And once we can really deepen our connection to our body, we will begin to deepen our connection to ourselves, and we'll notice our own lives begin to transform externally. Um, he also talked about forgiveness, and a lack of forgiveness to our one self prohibits our deep connection to ourselves. So grievance and unforgiven emotions can get stuck in our pain body and keep us disconnected from ourselves. So this is where we're going to continue picking up page 121, and it is your link with the unmanifested. So the integration work that I had done, or had for everybody to do, was to identify things that you've not forgiven yourself for, past behaviors, actions, lack of action. Write them down, and then write a forgiveness letter to yourself. Like, for just, we always write letters like to other people to express our emotions and express our feelings. How about you take the time to write that forgiveness letter to yourself? And I always tell people, if like you write something and you're so worried about somebody finding it, light that baby on fire. don't burn your house down, and just send it off to the universe. Like, really visualize those emotions being, released as you light that fire. All right. So, without further ado, hello, Musa. Musa requested to speak. Hi, Musa. Nice to meet you. It's taking a minute to connect. Musa, did you have something you wanted to input, or you just wanted to?
No, I just came here randomly, so I
Oh,
don't
okay.
have much to say.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and start reading. Thanks for joining the space. I'm going to go ahead and start reading. If anybody has the book and wants to read at any other time, just raise your hand. And then when there's a pause, you're welcome to read. So, your link with the unmanifested. What is the relationship between presence and the inner body? Presence is pure consciousness, consciousness that has been reclaimed from mind, from the world of form. The inner body is your link with the unmanifested, and in its deepest aspect is the unmanifested. Unmanifested. The source from which consciousness emanates as a light emanates from the sun. Awareness of the body, awareness of the inner body is consciousness remembering its origin and returning to source. Is the unmanifested the same as being? Yes. The word unmanifested attempts, by way of negation, to express that which cannot be spoken, thought, or imagined. It points to what is by saying what is not. Being, on the other hand, is a positive term. Please don't get attached to either of these words or start believing in them. They are no more than signposts. You said that presence is consciousness that has been reclaimed from the mind. Who does the reclaiming? You do. But since in your essence you are consciousness, we might as well say that it is an awakening of consciousness from the dream of form. This does not mean that your own form will instantly vanish in an explosion of light. You can continue in your present form, yet be aware of the formless and deathless deep within you. I must admit, this is way beyond my comprehension, and yet some level I seem to know what you're talking about. It is more like a feeling than anything else. Am I deceiving myself? No, you are not. Feeling will get you closer to the truth of who you are than thinking. I cannot tell you anything that deep within you do not already know. When you have reached a certain stage of inner connectedness, you recognize the truth when you hear it. If you haven't reached that stage yet, the practice of body awareness will bring about the deepening that is necessary. Slowing down the aging process. In the meantime, awareness of inner body has no benefits in the physical realm. One of them is a significant slowing down of the aging of the physical body. Whereas the outer body normally appears to grow old and wither fairly quickly, the inner body does not change with time, except that you may feel it more deeply and become it more fully. If you're 20 years old now, the energy field of the inner body will feel just the same when you are 80. It will be just as vibrantly alive. As soon as your habitual state changes from being out of the body and trapped in your mind to begin in the body and present in the now, your physical body will begin to feel lighter, clearer, and more alive. As there is more consciousness in the body, its molecular structure actually becomes less dense. The more consciousness means a lessening of the illusion of materiality. When you become identified more with the timeless inner body than with the outer body, when presence becomes your normal mode of consciousness and past and future no longer dominate your attention, you do not accumulate time more in your psyche and in the cells of the body. The accumulation of time as the psychological burden of past and future greatly impairs cells' capacity for self renewal. So, if you inhabit the inner body, the outer body will grow old at a much slower rate. And even when it does, your timeless essence will shine through the outer form, and you will not give the appearance of an old person. Is there any scientific evidence for this? Try it out, and you will be the evidence. Strengthening the immune system. Another benefit of this practice in the physical realm is a great strengthening of the immune system, which occurs when you inhabit the body. The more consciousness you bring into the body, the stronger the immune system becomes. It is as if every cell awakens and rejoices. The body loves your attention. It is also a potent form of self-healing. Most illnesses creep in when you are not present in the body. If the master is not present in the house, all kinds of shady characters will take up residence there. When you inhabit your body, it will be hard for unwanted guests to enter. It is not only your physical immune system that becomes strengthened, your psychic immune system is greatly enhanced as well. The latter protects you from negative mental, emotional force fields of others, which are highly contagious. Inhabiting the body protects you not by putting up a shield, but by raising your frequency vibration of your total energy field. So that anything that vibrates at a lower frequency, fear, anger, depression, and so on, now exists in what is virtually a different order of reality. It doesn't enter your field of consciousness anymore. Or if it does, you don't need to offer any resistance to it because it passes right through you. Please don't just accept or reject what I'm saying. Put it to test. There is a simple but powerful self-healing meditation that you can do whenever you feel the need to boost your immune system. It is particularly effective if you use it when you feel the first symptoms of an illness, but it also works with illnesses that are already entrenched if you use it frequent intervals and with an intense focus. It will also counteract any disruption of your energy field by some form of negativity. However, it is not a substitute for the moment-to-moment practice of being in the body. Otherwise, its effect will only be temporary. Here it is. When you are unoccupied for a few minutes, and especially the last thing at night before falling asleep, and first thing in the morning before getting up, flood your body with consciousness. Close your eyes, lie flat on your back. Choose different parts of your body to focus your attention on briefly. First, hands, feet, arms, legs, abdomen, chest, head, and so on. Feel the life energy inside those parts as intensely as you can. Stay with each part for 15 seconds or so. Then let your attention run through the body like a wave a few times, from your feet to your head and then back again. This need only take a minute or so. After that, feel the inner body in its totality as a single field of energy. Hold that feeling for a few minutes. Be intensely present during that time. Present in every cell of your body. Do not be concerned if the mind occasionally succeeds in drawing your attention out of the body and you lose yourself in the thought. As soon as you notice, go back to your body. Let the breath take you into the body. At times, when my mind has been very active, it has acquired such momentum that I find it impossible to take my attention away from it and feel the inner body. This happens particularly when I have a worry or anxiety. Do you have any suggestions? If at any time you're finding it hard to get in touch with the inner body, It is usually easier to focus on your breathing. Conscious breathing, which is a powerful meditation in its own, will gradually put you in touch with the body. Follow the breath with your intention as it moves in and out of your body. Breathe into the body and feel your abdomen expanding and contracting slightly with each inhalation and exhalation. If you find it easy to visualize, close your eyes and see yourself surrounded by light or immersed, in an illuminous substance, a sea of consciousness. Then breathe in that light. Feel that luminous substance filling up your body and making it luminous also. Then gradually focus more on the feeling. You are now in your body. Do not get attached to any visual image. So there is a pause here. And we're going to take this pause and we are going to discuss what I just read about the unmanifested. As some of you may know, I was sick last session. I rarely get sick, and I wish I would have read this and be reminded. Sometimes when we are sick, we tend to like know how to help everybody else, and then when we're sick, we forget how to take care of ourselves. I wish I would have read ahead and did this consciousness breathing of getting into our body and the energy work, and that definitely would have strengthened my immune system for sure. But now that I'm more out of it, I'm feeling so much better and clearer. This is definitely something I'm going to practice. I've experienced this many times in the past. And I know a few of the listeners who may not be here today, but where they felt, when you go through your spiritual awakening and you become more conscious and you become more connected on that inner energy or source energy within, you do tend to look younger, right? Your face structure will tend to change. And I really chalk it up to like you're releasing all those stresses you may have felt so attached to prior to waking up and realizing like none of that matters. Musa, you have your hand up if you'd like to speak.
Yes, so I just wanted to confirm that is the book name is Power of Now, right? By Tolle.
Yes. Eckhart Tolle,
Uh,
The Power of Now.
yes, so I have read that book some time ago.
Yes.
So yes, so I just wanted to ask that.
Yeah, we most of us in here have read this book as well many many years ago. And we continue to say, when you first read a book, sometimes it doesn't really click. And now reading this, it's just like a yes, I understand. Everything he's talking about really connects to the things that I've been going through and the things that I've become um in awareness of truth with in the past few years. So I really love this book, and I'm glad we're reading it and getting this refresher.
Yes, honestly, when I first read that book, so I was bored because the message of this book is very repetitive. So that's why I got bored uh, by reading the first time. So after some time, I realized that the message is really deep. The message is very simple, but actually it's very deep. So it is easy to understand, but when you talk about applying, about practicals, then it is quite difficult.
Yeah, I have found that the book is very repetitive. um he definitely does he restates the same things in slightly different ways, and I think it's just to really understand, because if you're not at the level of truly understanding how to connect to the body and doing what he's saying, and your mind is still getting in the way, it does feel like, oh, this doesn't work. But he continues to go on and give different ways of connecting to the body, to get, or different ways of connecting to that inner being, that inner energy, for people who may, in the beginning when he talks about, just taking those, trying to still the mind, right? So we're first getting into meditation. So if that's not working for you, now he's giving you different ways of basically doing a meditation to quiet the mind, to get truly and connected into that body, that energy. But I definitely understand what you're saying by it being a little repetitive. Welcome, Sammy. It's good seeing you here. So we're going to continue to read on 126. The creative use of mind. If you need to use your mind for a specific purpose, use it in conjunction with your inner body. Only if you're able to be conscious without thought can you use your mind creatively. And the easiest way to enter that state is through your body. Whenever an answer, a solution, or a creative idea is needed, don't think for a moment. By focusing your attention on your inner energy field, become aware of the stillness. When you resume thinking, it will be fresh and creative. In any thought activity, make it a habit to go back and forth every few minutes or so between thinking and the inner kind of listening and inner stillness. You could say, don't just think with your head, think with your whole body. This is especially true for creatives, artists, things like that. You can't think your way into a creative painting. You definitely, all artists, whether they are aware or not, they are really working from that inner energy. I don't feel creative endeavors come from the mind. They all come from within. It's just like that true essence of their soul that's coming out. The art of listening. When listening to another person, don't just listen with your mind, listen with your whole body. Feel the energy field of your inner body as you listen. That takes attention away from you thinking and creates a still space that enables you to truly listen without the mind interfering. You're giving the other person space to be. It is the most precious gift you can give. Most people don't even know how to listen because the major part of their attention is taken up by thinking. They pay more attention to that than to what the other person is saying, and none at all to what really matters: the being of the other person underneath the words in the mind. Of course, you cannot feel someone else's being except through your own. This is the beginning of the realization of oneness, which is love. At the deepest level of being, you are one with all that is. Most human relationships consist mainly of minds interacting with each other, not of human beings communicating, being in communion. No relationship can thrive in that way, and that is why there is so much conflict in relationships. When the mind is running your life, conflict, strife, and problems are inevitable. Being in touch with your inner body creates a clear space of no mind within which the relationship can flower. And that is the end of chapter 6. This is a great section here, the art of listening. And what he says is so true, where, most people, when we're interacting, we're not paying attention. We're waiting to respond. Our mind is processing all the things we want to say next, that we want to be spoken to, respond to what is being said to us. If all of us took time to really do what he's saying here, which is drop out of your mind and into your heart space and listen to the other person, not just their words, but the energy that they're emanating from them. And you're going to feel more connectedness because we are all one. We all are source energy. And as we connect to them, we're then giving space for them to fully open up and express what they need to express. And then we can pause and absorb and then respond if need be. And that little bit of action connects you deeper to somebody else rather than, just waiting to respond, because then you're not hearing what they're saying. You're creating friction. They don't feel heard because you don't even validate or unvalidate anything that they're saying. It's just a rebuttal back and forth. So then we're going to continue chapter 7. Portals into the unmanifested. Going deeply into the body. I can feel the energy inside my body, especially in my arms and my legs, but I don't seem to be able to go more deeply, as you suggested earlier. Then you should make it into a meditation. It doesn't need to take long. 10 to 15 minutes of clock time should be sufficient. Just make sure first that there's no external distractions, such as your telephones or people who are likely to interrupt you. Sit on a chair, but don't lean back. Keep the spine erect. Doing so will help you to stay alert. Alternatively, choose your own favorite position for meditation. Make sure your body is relaxed. Close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. Feel yourself breathing into your lower abdomen, as it were. Observe how it expands and contracts slightly with each in and out breath. Then become aware of the entire energy field of the body. Do not think about it. Feel it. By doing this, you reclaim consciousness from the mind. If you find it helpful, use the light visualization I described earlier. When you can feel the inner body clearly as a single field of energy, let go. If possible, of any visual image and focus exclusively on the feeling. If you can, also drop any mental image you may still have of the physical body. All that is left then is an all-encompassing sense of presence or beingness. Excuse me. And the inner body is felt to be without a boundary. Then you take your attention even more deeply into that feeling. Become one with it. Merge with that energy field so that there is no longer a perceived duality of the observer and the observed, of you and your body. The distinction between inner and outer also dissolves, so there's no inner body anymore. By going deeply into the body, you have transcended the body. Stay in this realm of pure being for as long as feels for as long as it feels comfortable. Then become aware again of the physical body, your breathing, and physical senses. Now open your eyes. Look at your surroundings for a few minutes in a meditative way. That is, without labeling them mentally, and continue to feel the inner body as you do so. So there's a pause here. Now, if you guys are listening and you're not speaking, have you guys manifest or worked through meditation before? Let me see if I have like emojis. If you've done some meditation, put some hearts in the chat. Or not in the chat, just put some hearts. All right, so we see Musa's done some meditation. All right. So I'm actually going to go through, I would really love it if you guys are down for it, I think we should actually do a little meditation, and I'm going to go along with what he says. So I'm kind of going to repeat this, but I'm not. I'm going to stray a little bit from how this last paragraph that I just read, or section that I just read, but I'm going to guide you guys through a little bit of meditation. So if you're driving, please do not do this. Make sure you're exactly where he says, like, if you can take, we're going to keep it simple. It's going to be like 1 to 2 minute guided meditation. And this is just to kind of guide you. It preferably, yes, sit on a chair and upright so you don't fall asleep. So I'm going to give you guys a minute to get into a nice, good position for the meditation. And again, if you're driving, do not do this. Okay. Even if you're listening to playback, don't, just pause now and then listen later. So if you guys are ready for a little guided meditation, go ahead and put some hearts up in the chat. I'm actually going to do like a little sound bowl meditation. A sound bowl to get you guys started. So you're going to sit in a nice seated upright position, and you're going to comfortably close your eyes. And just to get you guys started into the body, you can hear the sound bowl. You're going to take a few deep breaths, breathing deep into the lower part of the abdomen. Deep breath in. And then release it nice and slow. Now, as you're taking these deep breaths into the abdomen and out, visualize a beautiful white light just beginning to surround your whole body. Deep breath in. And release slow. Now feel that white light that's surrounding your body just flow through and reach to like the core of your body. Deep into the heart space, just feel that white light expanding. Again, you're taking nice deep breaths all the way through the abdomen. And releasing. And you're going to feel the white light just expand all the way out and all over your body. Now you're going to take some deep breaths in again. And release out. Now you're going to come back aware. Begin to open your eyes. All right. Did you guys get some good results from that? How are you guys feeling? If you don't want to speak, you can throw some hearts up if you enjoyed it. So that really is just like a nice that's something simple you can do. If you don't have a sound bowl, you can do it without any type of sound in the background, but you can also find things on YouTube, sound bowl meditations. I'm not affiliated, but I highly suggest Meditative Mind. They have some excellent frequency music that'll help you when you're doing any meditations. And I love the sound bowls and I love that frequency music because it gets you into the body very quickly. So we're going to continue reading page 130. Welcome everybody who's in the club. It's nice seeing you, Coach Turby. So having access to the formless realm that is truly liberating. It frees you from the bondage of form and identification with form. It is life in its undifferentiated state prior to its fragmentation into multiplicity. We may call it the unmanifested, the invisible source of all things, the being within all beings. It is a aliveness. It is a realm of deep stillness and peace, but also joy and intense aliveness. Whenever you are present, you become transparent to some extent to the light, the pure consciousness that emanates from this source. You also realize that the light is not separate from you, but you are, but constitutes your very essence. Let me read that again. Hold on. Whenever you are present, you become transparent to some extent to the light, the pure consciousness that emanates from this source. You also realize that the light is not separate from who you are, but constitutes your very essence. The source of chi. It is unmanifested, what in the East is called chi, a kind of universal life energy. No, it is not that. The unmanifested is the source of chi. Chi is the inner energy field of your body. It is the bridge between the outer you and source. It lies halfway between the manifested, the form world, and the unmanifested. Chi can be likened to a river or to an energy of stream. If you take the focus of your consciousness deeply into the inner body, you are tracing the course of this river back to its source. Chi is movement. The unmanifested is stillness. When you reach a point of absolute stillness, which is never less vibrant with life, you have gone beyond the inner body and beyond chi to source itself, the unmanifested. Chi is the link between the unmanifested and the physical universe. So if you take your attention deeply into the inner body, you may reach this point, this singularity where the world dissolves into the unmanifested and the unmanifested takes on form as the energy stream of chi, which then becomes the world. This is the point of birth and death. When your consciousness is directed outward, mind and world arises. When it is directed inward, it realizes its own source and returns home into the unmanifested. Then when your consciousness comes back to the manifested world, you reassume the form identity that you temporarily relinquished. You have a name, a past, a life situation, a future. But in one essential respect, You are not the same person you were before. You will have glimpsed of reality within yourself that is not of this world. Although it isn't separate from it, it just isn't it just is isn't separated from you. I know I'm stumbling a little on my words today. Now let your spiritual practice be this. As you go about life, don't give 100% of your attention to the external world and to your mind. Keep some within. I have spoken about this already. Feel the inner body when engaged in everyday activities, especially when engaged in relationships or when you are relating with nature. Feel the stillness deep within inside it. Keep the portal open. It is quite possible to be conscious of the unmanifested through your life. You feel it as a deep sense of peace somewhere in the background, a stillness that never leaves you. No matter what happens out here, you become a bridge between the unmanifested and the manifested, between God and the world. This is the state of connectedness with the source that we call enlightenment. Do not get the impression that the unmanifested is separate from the manifested. How could it be? It is the life within every form. The inner essence of all exists. It pervades this world. Let me explain. Deepless sleep. You take a journey into the unmanifested every night when you enter the phase of deep, dreamless sleep. You merge with the source. You draw from it the vital energy that sustains you for a while when you return to the manifested, the world of separate forms. This energy is much more vital than food. Man does not live by bread alone, but in dreamless sleep, you don't go into it consciously. Although the body functions are still operating, you no longer exist in that state. Could you imagine what it would be like to go into dreamless state with full consciousness? It is impossible to imagine it because that state has no content. The unmanifested does not liberate you until you enter it consciously. This is why Jesus did not say, "The truth will make you free," but rather, "You will know the truth, and the truth will make you free." This is not a conceptual truth. It is the truth of eternal life beyond form, which is known directly or not at all. But don't attempt to stay conscious in dreamless sleep. It is highly unlikely you will succeed. At most, you may remain conscious during the dream phase, but not beyond that. This is called lucid dreaming, which may be interesting and fascinating, but it definitely is not liberating. So use your inner body as a portal through which you can enter the unmanifested and keep that portal open so you stay connected with Source at all times. It makes no difference as far as the inner body is concerned, whether your outer physical body is old, young, frail, or strong. The inner body is timeless. If you are not yet able to feel the inner body, use one of the other portals. Although ultimately they're all one. Some I have already spoken about lengthy, but I mention them again briefly here. The other portals. The now can be seen as the main portal. It is an essential aspect of every other portal, including the inner body. You cannot be in your body without being intensely present in the now. Time and the manifested are as inextricably linked as are the timeless now and the unmanifested. When you dissolve psychological time through intense present moment awareness, you become conscious of the unmanifested, both directly and indirectly. Directly, you feel it as the radiance and power of your conscious presence. No content, just presence. Indirectly, you are aware of the unmanifested in and through the sensory realm. In other words, you feel God essence in every creature, flower, stone, and you realize all that is holy. This is why Jesus, speaking entirely from his essence or Christ identity, says in the Gospel of Thomas, "Split a piece of wood, I am there. Lift up a stone, and you will find me there." Another portal into the unmanifested is created through the cessation of thinking. This can start with a very simple thing, such as taking one conscious breath or looking in a state of intense alertness at a flower. So there's no mental commentary running at the same time. There are many ways to create a gap in the instant stream of thought. This is what meditation is all about. Thought is part of the realm of manifested. Continuous mind activity keeps you imprisoned in the world of form and becomes an opaque screen that prevents you from becoming conscious of the unmanifested, conscious of the formless and timeless God essence in yourself and in all things and creatures. When you are intensely present, you don't need to be concerned about the cessation of thinking, of course, because the mind then stops automatically. That's why I said the now is an essential and central aspect of every other portal. Surrender. The letting go of mental, emotional resistance to what is also becomes a portal into the unmanifested. The reason for this is simple. Inner resistance cuts you off from other people, from yourself, from the world around you. It strengthens the feeling of separateness on which the ego depends for its survival. The stronger the feeling of separateness, the more you are bound to the manifested, to the world of separate forms. The more you are bound to the world of form, the harder and more impenetrable your form identity becomes. The portal is closed, and you're cut off from the inner dimension, the dimension of depth. In the state of surrender, your form identity softens and becomes somewhat transparent, as it were, so the unmanifested can shine through you. It's up to you to open a portal in your life that gives you conscious access to the unmanifested. Get in touch with the energy field of the inner body. Be intensely present. Disidentify from the mind. Surrender to what is. These are all portals you can use, but you only need to use one. Surely, love must also be one of those portals. No, it is not. As soon as one of the portals is open, love is present in you as the feeling realization of oneness. Love isn't a portal. It's what comes through the portal into this world. As long as you are completely trapped in your form identity, there's no love. Your task is not to search for love, but to find a portal through which love can enter. So I'm going to take a pause here because we're at 8:55. He continues to talk about more portals. But I really love this last section where he's talking about basically what he's all talking about here is the different ways we can get to that unconscious mind, to the truth, to source energy, to the energy within ourselves, and to still the mind, right? So these are all different ways to get into that meditative form. And this is so true. Like when he's talking at this last little section where he's like, well, love must be one of those portals. And he's like, no, because we have such this mental thought. Most people don't know what love is. They truly don't, because love comes with so many conditions. Well, I'm going to only love you if you behave this way, if you act this way, if you do these things. And love really isn't any of that. Love is, I'm going to understand that we are so interconnected because we are all source, and I'm going to love you for who you are and allow you to be who you are. And I'm going to just, that's it, just love and allow you to be who you are. Now, whether or not those person's actions will determine whether or not you should have them a certain role in your life, correct? But it does not change the love. Their actions only determine whether or not they stay around you. So this is so true, because once you really find that interconnectedness, love cannot be removed from you. It cannot be taken from you. It cannot be, changed. It just is. And it really comes out in that essence, because that is what it is. We're all connected and nothing else really matters besides that. So I'm going to wrap it up if nobody has anything to say. And I'm definitely going to challenge you guys to do some integration work here. Go back, listen to that little meditation that we did, or find your own way, like things that you want to listen to or nothing at all, and do as he said, and really continue to deepen your meditation practice. Continue to find that silence of the mind, connect deep into that inner body, connect with that inner energy field of the unmanifested, as he calls it in this chapter, and really find that stillness so that you can start reversing your age, okay? And you can start really healing your physical body, your immune system. I know I'm going to start working a little deeper on my meditation practice this week, because I obviously have been disconnected since I'm experiencing this illness. But I'm super grateful for you all to join me. Make sure if you're signed up for the emails, you check your email. It's going to have the link to for integration work. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening, and I'll see you guys next week. I'm the Spiritual Gangsta, the owner operator of Anchored Soul Therapy. If you want to check out all the old archives of this book, the readings, it's on anchoredsoultherapy.com under the book club. And I'll see you guys in the future. Bye now.